Good morning, students. Today we are going to start the last part of the probability, that is called Bayes theorem. Yesterday we have completed total independent events and conditional probability problems, theorems and everything is over by yesterday. Now today the last in this topic is Bayes theorem. Before going to the Bayes theorem, we have to learn about the theorem of total probability. Why I am saying like this means, whenever you are doing multiplication theorem on probability, you remember, do you remember where we said by the definition of conditional probability, we wrote there and cross multiplied multiplication theorem as proved. In the similar fashion, Bayes theorem also, by the definition of total probability, we have to say like that. By the definition of total probability and by the definition of multiplication probability, we prove Bayes theorem. So there again you have to write the theorem of total probability as it is there. When Bayes theorem is asked means this theorem you have to ask. Whenever multiplication theorem asked means we should write definition of conditional probability and you have to proceed. That's what I told you in last classes. In a similar way, we'll proceed now. Okay. So far, what we did, any event we got maximum 1 to 2 events we got. 1 event or 2 events. 2 coins are tossed. Sum of the 2 numbers is 8, more than 8, less than 8, king or queen, something like that. So everywhere so far we dealt with 2 events only. Now, if you have more than 2 events you have to manage means what to do, that is called Bayes theorem. Bayes theorem is also called as reverse, just like how we will say in integration, reverse process of integration is known as reverse process of differentiation is known as integration. In a similar manner, this is also reverse probability. We also call as reverse probability. I will tell you when the time comes where it is reverse probability. Okay. Now we are going to learn the total probability. See now, theorem of total probability. Why I wrote like this means you should also write like this only, because your textbook is there, good only, but something I added, so that's so better to write like this only. Okay, my dear students. Now I'll explain. Slowly I'll explain. We don't have any hurry, so listen carefully now. Here you see, this is the statement. So any theorem when you are doing, statement and proof both must be there. So that is the reason here statement I wrote, here proof I wrote. Even more is there, because I don't have a board now. After this I will prove, because theory I wrote here. Now you people are not here to say it. So that is the reason I wrote everything on the board. Now let us see now. Theorem of total probability. Statement: let set of E1 comma E2 comma and so on En be a partition of the sample space S, and suppose that each of the events E1 comma E2 comma and so on En be the set of N mutually exclusive and exhaustive, has non-zero probability of occurrence. Let A be any event associated with S, then P of A is equal to P of E1 into P of A given E1 plus P of E2 into P of A given E2 plus and so on plus P of En into P of A given En. That is, symbolically how can you write? P of A is equal to, here summation is there, summation represented by sigma. Sigma j is equal to 1 to n P of Ej into P of A given Ej. So this is the statement. So whenever theorem of total probability if you write, if they don't give statement, you have to write only your statement and proof. Now here in this statement so many points are there that we will see, which you know it already. See now, simply I will tell you one thing. Suppose if you consider a set like this is a sample space Yes, in this event is there A, and this is called A complement. Correct or not? That is, entire box is entire sample space. Inside one event is there A. Outside A is what? A complement. So now from this what we noticed, we already did. From this what you noticed? A intersection A complement is 5. This and this don't have any common. Correct. But A union A complement is entire sample space. So A union A complement is entire sample space. If we add those two, then it is nothing but a sample space. But if we take common of it, we don't have anything. Then if we don't have any common, then the events are said to be disjoint events or mutually exclusive events. Both are same. Disjoint events, if you say also, mutually exclusive also, same only. So this is a sample space. In that event A is there. The outer space is called A complement, and A intersection A complement don't have any common, but A union A complement is entire sample space. Then the events are said to be complement to each other. So this is also, now what happened? The sample space is partitioned by two events A comma A complement, A comma A complement, because we have only two events we are taking. Now not only two events, if there are n events, how to do like that? This theorem is says the base, that's all. So need not to confuse. Same concept will extend here. Okay, my dear student. Now see, I will show the diagram, then you will come to know. So same, I put here sample space. Here this is also sample space. And now here one A I put, yes, this is A, you see, entire part is A, that's why I wrote here A, this is A. And outside A complement is there. Here what I did, sample space now according to your statement, it is divided into E1, E2 and so on, En. So many partitions we made. My dear students, partition need not be equal. It may be, one may be less, one may be more, like that also possible. But entire union is sample space. So S is divided into N events, N partitions. N partitions, how we name them as E1, E2, E3 and so on, En. That is what N partitions we did. So that's why I wrote here, you see, this is entire sample space, this is A, this is E1, this part, this is E2, this is E3, this is E4 and so on, this is En. You understood? This part E1 part, E2 part, E3 part, E4 part and so on part, En part. So therefore, if you add all the things, how you add? A union A complement is how much? Yes, like that. E1 union E2, E2 union E3, E3 union E4, E4 union and so on to union En is nothing but entire sample space. Yes. Okay. Now you see here. Now here what extra is what we are doing here. This, whenever say E1 part is here, A also here, A is an event. There is a common here, E1 and A common is here. So this part is called E1 intersection A. This is E2 part. This part is what? E2. E2 intersection A, E3 intersection A, En intersection A and so on. If you write like that. So A is such an event. A is such an event. It presents in every partition of the sample space. You understood now? A is such an event which presents every partition of the sample space. Now you see, E1, E2, E3, E4 and so on, En are the partitions of the sample space. Yes, everywhere E1 intersection A is there, E2 intersection A is there, E3 intersection A is there and so on, En intersection A is there. So that is how the event E. So now I will tell you, now you see, E1, E2 and so on, En be a partition, the sample space, yes, and suppose that each of the events E1, E2 and En be the set of N mutually exclusive and exhaustive, has non-zero probability of occurrence. Let A be any event associated with S, then P of A we are given. Here everything understood, sir, but you said something here, mutually exclusive. I told you, mutually exclusive events means they don't have any common. Means E1, E2 E3, E4 and so on, En are mutually exclusive events, means they don't have any common. Okay, na? They don't have any common. Suppose for example E1 means 1, 2, E2 means 3, 4, this is 5, 6, this is 6, 7, this and so on, this is 10, 11. Now entire sample space is how much? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 9, 10, 11, like that. If we add, entire sample space will come. 1, 2, 3, 4, what is intersection is there? So they are mutually exclusive events, correct? Next, what I said now, here mutual exclusive events and exhaustive. Exhaustive means in that sample space, maximum n number of events only is there. Another event will come, not like that is there. So whatever events partition we took, that is the maximum. So n are the maximum number of outcomes of an experiment we represented by s. That's why it is called mutually exclusive and exhaustive. Has non-zero probability of occurrence. Again you will say probability if 0 means so non-zero, it won't be 0, it will have something. So in that way it will come. So therefore non-zero probability of occurrence. This is step. Now what? Let A be any event associated with S, then P of A, this is given. Sir, if you understood, sir, what you said is very clear for us. Sample space is there. That sample space divided into n parts, n partitions by name E1, E2, E3 and so on, En. In that one element, one event is there A, which is common to all the partitions which we made in the sample space. That is why E1 intersection A, E2 intersection A, E3 intersection A and so on, En intersection A you said. And they are mutually exclusive, they don't have any common individually, and exhaustive, that is the only maximum events, and zero, non-zero probability of occurrence means those probabilities cannot be zero everywhere. Okay, this is, we understood, sir, that is good. Now only one point we are not able to understand. What is, let A be any event associated with S, we said, there we are getting confused. Okay, so before going to this, before going to explain A, I want to tell you one small example. From then we will come to know what is E1, E2, E3 and what is A. My dear students, I cannot show now n events now. Let us take 3 events. So 3 events I will tell you, because I'll show you here whatever the space available, I'll show you here. So I'll tell you the 3 events. What means I'll put here, this is box A, this is box B and this is box C. There are 3 boxes. This is box name is what? A box. This is B box. This is C box. In this we have red balls 3 and white balls 2. This is red, first one. This is white. Okay, here also red balls 4 and white balls 3 are there in this box. In this box, red balls 2 and white balls 3 are there, for example. So first row is red, second row is white, like that you take. My dear students, if you understand this, you understand this theorem very easily. Very important, this theorem. That is the reason I am explaining you these many ways. Okay, my dear student, A is a box, B is a box, C is a box which contains 3 red balls and 2 white balls and 4 red balls and 3 white balls and 2 red balls and 3 white balls, like that is there. Now you are asked to, what is the probability, finally what you are asked to do is, you are asked to choose one of the box, one of the box ABC and pick out a red ball from box 2. Okay, na? You are asked to choose any one of the box and pick out a red ball from box 2, for example. So we want a red ball. Okay, na? Let it be box 2, box 3, that is different. We want a red ball. You choose any one of the box and pick out a red ball. You say like that. That is enough. You pick out a red ball. So here how many chances are there? Box A is there, box B is there, box C is there. So your entire sample space divided into how many parts? 3 parts. A, B, C. So So now what is your event now? Your event of getting a red ball. So red ball whether is in A or not, A is there or not? Yes. Red ball in B is there or not? Yes. Red ball in C is there or not? Yes. That is called event A. Now understood. Correct? Event A is what? Getting a red ball. So therefore here also, that's why A be any event associated with S. You understood, whatever you want, whatever problem wants to find out, that is your event. That is will be there always in yes. How it will be there? It is common to all. Here red ball is there, here red ball is there, here red ball is there. Correct? So first of all, we have to find out the total probability of getting a red ball from these boxes. That is nothing but total probability theorem. The total probability of getting a red ball from these boxes. That is the called total probability. What is that? First of all, we have to select one of the boxes. So all the boxes are equal, likely, same shape, same nothing is there. So therefore identical. Therefore the chance of selecting any one of the boxes is 1 by 3. Total boxes are 3. I can select any one of them. 1 by 3 problem. So what I am doing now, after selecting a box A, for example A, and simultaneously I am going, whenever simultaneously I get into permutation combination, multiplication, that fundamental counting principle, you have to multiply. So first of all what I am doing, I am selecting a box and drawing a ball. Both are doing simultaneously, that's why multiplying. So selecting a box, probability is 1 by 3, into drawing a red ball from box A. How many red balls are there? 3. Total balls are 5. So we know the probability of 3 by 5. The probability of getting a red ball from box A is 3 by 5. How you got it? Total number of balls in a box A is 5. Out of the 3 are red. We want red only. 3C1 by 5C1, which is nothing but 3 by 5. Okay, over, So finally what you got? The probability of getting a red ball from box A is 1 by 3 into 3 by 5. Why 1 by 3 you put means, first of all you have to choose a box. Choosing a box probability is 1 by 3. Because out of 3, 1 is there. 2 is there means 1 by 2. 4 is there means 1 by 4. Understood? Or you may ask me, why you sir, when you put, why you will choose only box A? You can choose box B also, Yes. Or means what? Plus. Or, as you said, correct. If I choose box B, so probability is 1 by 3 only. Here also choosing box B is 1 by 3 only. 1 by 3 into, how many red balls are there this time? 4. Total number of balls are 7. So therefore 4 by 7. That is called 4 by 7. So the drawing a red ball from a box B is 4 by 7. Suppose if I choose box C, same, the probability is 1 by 3. The probability is 1 by 3 into, there are only 2 red balls are there, 2 by 5. My dear students, I think you understood very clearly. First of all, I should choose a box, then I should getting a red ball from it. So the probability is how much? First box means 1 by 3 into 3 by 5 plus 1 by 3 into 4 by 7 plus 1 by 3 into 2 by 5. That's all. That only, See, that is called total probability. See, in statement, P of A, P of E1 into P of A given E1 plus P of E2 into P of A given E2 plus and so on. If there are 3 only, I wrote 3. If N is there and so on plus P of En into P of A given En. This is nothing but P of A given En. We want red ball from box 2 like that. So therefore it is this is the problem. You understood now very clearly. So now what I am saying, the statement easily you can understand. Now once again, before going to the problem, we read the statement. Let E1, E2 and so on En be a partition of the sample space S, and suppose that each of the events E1, E2 and so on En be the set of N mutually exclusive and exhaustive has non-zero probability of occurrence. Let A be any event associated with S, then P of A is equal to P of E1 into P of A given E1, P of E2 into P of A given E2 plus and so on plus P of En into P of A given En. This can be written as symbolically P of A is equal to summation that is sigma Because here is n is there. So if you say j are there, j is equal to 1 to n, means in place of j you write 1, p of 1, e1 into p of a given e1, it has come, you know. P of, if you write instead of next j 2, p of e2 into p of a given e2, you got it, you know. Like that, if you write instead of j is equal to n, p of en into p of a given en, that symbolically we write sigma j is equal to 1 to n, p of ej into p of a given ej. That's all. This is statement so far. Now diagram I have given here. So I explained here diagram also. Yes, there are n sample space, in a sample space n events are there, which is partition, and a is the event which is common to all. I shown here. Understood? Okay, very good. Now proof. Let us move to the proof. When you move to the proof, here how will do now? Given that, whatever given, first of all you should write in a proof also. Given that e1 comma e2 and so on en be the set of n mutually exclusive and exhaustive events, set of sample space S. In a sample space S, these are the events which are mutually exclusive and exhaustive events. Okay. Now therefore, from this what you came to know, that entire sample space is nothing but, means equal to E1 union E2 union and so on union to En. If you add E1, E2, E3 and so on En, then entire sample space will come. So that's why S is equal to E1 union, E2 union and so on union En. And what I wrote here, and EI intersection EJ. Okay, na? And EI intersection EJ, you keep like that. That is, you keep like that. And En, and we know that we can from here also you can say, from here also you can say, no problem. And EI intersection EJ is equal to 5, I said. And what is said now? I is not equal to j, comma I comma j is equal to 1, 2 and so on En. That is what is there. Okay, na? Not to get confused. Okay, and after this you should write. Now EI intersection EJ is equal to 5 means what, sir? Instead of I you put 1, instead of j you put 2, then how much you will get? E1 intersection E2 is equal to 5, correct or no? Here E1 is there, here E2 is there, they don't have any common. Saying that because E1 comma E2 disjoint, E2 comma, like that you cannot say, no, that's why I comma j we said. You take any two events, E3, E4, E10, E11, E11, E21, whatever you take, two events you take, they don't have any common in between them, they are 5. Mutually exclusive events means what? Disjoint. Disjoint means what? 5. So EI intersection is equal to 5, comma I is not equal to j, I said. I is not equal to j means if you take I is equal to 1, j is equal to 1, it is same will come. E1 intersection E1, how much will come? E1 only. E1 intersection E1, how much? E1 only. So that's why we are not taking that case. So that's why I is not equal to j. Then I comma j from 1 to n. You take 1 to n, any value from 1 to n for I is equal to j is equal to. Here if you want E10 you can put, here E11 you put, here E20 you put, here E100 you put, no problem. E20 intersection E100 is 5 only. So means what? They are mutually exclusive and they don't have any common. Okay, na? I is not equal to j. Same number if you put print, will get it. So therefore it is meaningless. That's why I is not equal to j, he said. Okay. Now we know that for any event A, getting a red ball, suppose you said red ball means entire sample space, how many balls are there? You see 5, 7, like correct, huh? If you take 7 plus 5, 12 plus 17 balls are there, 3 boxes together. So that is entire sample space is 3 boxes there. But anywhere A is what? Getting a red ball. So getting a red ball, that only is saying. Therefore, now we know that for any event A is equal to A intersection S. Correct or not? Yes. S is total sample space. A means getting only red ball. So in red ball, white balls are there. Getting red ball, getting red ball intersection, having red ball and white ball means what is common? Red ball common. Correct or not? So that is nothing but A. So A is equal to A intersection S. My dear students, is equal to, down only I wrote A intersection. What is S? I wrote here only E1 union, E2 union and so on union N. That only I wrote. I took S out and wrote the value of it. Correct? Yes. Now that is equal to distributive law, just like distributive law. A intersection E1 union, A intersection E2 union, A intersection En. My dear students, you understood? So A intersection E1 first, next A intersection E2 between union, A intersection another one union. So union A intersection En. A is common everywhere. A intersection, that's why I don't know. E1 intersection A or A intersection E1, A intersection E2, A intersection E3, A intersection En. Correct or not? So therefore I wrote like this. So A intersection E1 union, A intersection E2 union and A intersection En. Also, what I wrote also A intersection EI and A intersection EJ are respectively the subsets of EI and EJ. For example, in place of I you put 1, in place of J you put 2, then what will happen? A intersection E1 is subset of E1. Correct or not? You tell me. E1 means this. From here to here is there E1. E1 intersection is subset of E1 or not? Correct? Like that E2 intersection is subset of E2 or not? Correct only, no? That is he is saying. Instead of E1, E2 he is saying IJ. So therefore now you understood. Also A intersection EI and A intersection EJ are respectively the subsets of EI and EJ, where EI and EJ are disjoint. Correct only, no? E1 comma E2 don't have any common. So that's why EI and EJ are disjoint. For every I is not equal to the same set we cannot have. So that implies A intersection EI and A intersection EJ are also disjoint. Means these two are also disjoint. So for every I is not equal to J, I comma J is equal to 1 to N. Now this you understood. So first of all, what I wrote you should understand. I think you understood very well. Okay, na? I explained each and everything with examples also. Now let us prove because I don't have board, so I'll rub the statement. There I'll prove, remaining proof I'll write. My dear students, I think you go through once again. If we go for the one thing also, we'll get it. Okay, let me write now. I'll rub it off here. So the statement I am just rubbing off to prove further. So I'll write here now. My dear students, if you know this, over, your probable Bayes theorem is over, that's all. So nothing in this. But you must be very cautious. What you are writing and everything, you should know it, that's all. Anyhow, now, here what happened? Continuation. Here continuation, you have to continue like this one. Because A is equal to, I write here. A is equal to A intersection, once again I'll write here. Okay, otherwise this is all A is equal to, this is all A is equal to. Now I applied P. P means probability. So P of A is equal to P of entire things. Entire things means what? A intersection E1 union A intersection E2 union and so on union AN in A intersection En, A intersection En. My dear student, I didn't do anything. I just add P, probability on both sides. Correct? Okay. Now I am going to write now P of A intersection E1 union means plus P of A intersection E2. Okay, na? E1 is over E2 plus and so on plus P of A intersection En. So P of A is equal to this much, we got it. P of A is equal to A intersection E1 plus A intersection E2 plus and so on P of A intersection En. Sir, we didn't understand. What? You said addition theorem means P of A union B means you said we learned, not you said, we learned P of A plus P of B minus P of A intersection B. Where is that P of A intersection B, sir? Okay, my dear student, just now we have discussed it. A intersection B is, we don't have any common, they are disjoint sets. When they are disjoint sets means what will happen? Their intersection will become 0. Therefore, P of A intersection B is mutually exclusive, means it is nothing but P of A plus P of B, which you are already learned in first year. My dear students, when A comma B are mutually exclusive events or disjoint events, P of A union B is equal to P of A plus P of B. Basing on that, since they are all disjoint, I wrote in here, it's all is disjoint events. So the union is there, but they are disjoint. Means this is A, this is B, and so on, this is N. So means what? Probability of A plus, probability of B plus, and probability of N. That's all. You understood now? Clear? Good. So that is how, that is the reason why we wrote like this. Okay? Next point. So now P of A intersection is there, you know. So now what to do? By multiplication rule of probability, I will write here. By multiplication, rule of probability, by multiplication rule of probability, I'll just rub it off. Okay, no problem. I'll by the multiplication rule of probability means multiplication theorem. What multiplication theorem states? Now we'll write here. We have P of A intersection EI. What is multiplication theorem saying? We learn, you know. Okay, na? Sir, we have forgotten, sir. Okay. Examination, sir. Some confusion has come. We have forgotten multiplication theorem. No worry, don't worry. How to get your multiplication theorem also I will tell you. You know, always you won't forget. Your A given even, conditional probability. Here A even only, no? A intersection EI. Sorry, we will write EI. What is no problem. So A given E intersection, A given EI. What is the conditional probability? Their intersection by their denominator. That is very easy to remember. So means P of A intersection EI by P of EI. Correct or not? For this you are correct or not? You tell me. Probability of A given B, probability of A intersection B by probability of B. Now you cross multiply. This implies P of A intersection EI is equal to P of EI into P of A given EI. Over. You got it. The same thing you write here. Oh, that is the multiplication theorem. With conditional probability, we can write to the multiplication. If you forget also, no problem. You go for and cross multiply it, you will get it. The same thing I am writing here. We have A intersection EI is equal to, what you will write? P of EI into P of A given EI. My dear students, by multiplication rule of probability, we have P of A intersection EI is equal to P of EI into P of A given EI. We know it, we wrote it, that's all. That is the multiplication rule of probability. Now, this implies this implies what? This implies P of A is equal to, this rule you are applying here. P of A, I wrote here, is equal to A intersection E1 means what? P of E1 into P of A given E1. Instead of I put 1, P of E1 into P of A given E1. Correct? Okay. Here instead of I put 2, P of E2 into P of A given E2. Correct or not? And so on, P of En into P of A given En. Over. So by multiplication rule I applied here, I got this. So this is, that is nothing but symbolically P of A is equal to sigma, J is equal to 1 to N, P of Ej into P of E given Aj. Over. That's all. That is the total probability of the theorem. So without any problem we got it. Okay, na? And here only one thing extra you write here. Here, comma, P of EI cannot be equal to 0, my dear students. Because denominator, I told you here. If this is 0, nothing will be there. So, that you should write by, we have P of ei is equal to, cannot be equal to 0 for every I belongs to 1 to n. You can extra you write for every I is equal to 1 comma 2 comma n. We don't have any problem. So basing on that only we wrote. So finally we write this step over. Our theorem is over. Very simple. It became, if you understand, if you understood means very simple. So my dear students, this is the very important theorem as on today, because the next topics are removed. This is going to appear in your final examination for PU for 5 marks. So my dear student, Bayes theorem, next will come Bayes theorem. That is simple only, just like multiplication theorem here. How you got it? By cross multiplication, that's all, Bayes theorem. But there we are, what I said, this is multiplication theorem means the conditional probability, everything we should write. Then we should prove in multiplication. In the similar way, we have to total theorem on probability you have to prove, then we should conclude Bayes theorem. Remember this, okay? Without writing, by definition of total probability means we won't give marks. They won't give. So you have to prove it. Why I am not doing means already I explained. That's why this you have to write. Okay? My dear students, again, one more revision I am doing now. How to revise yourself or mind, I am just telling you. There is a sample space, yes. And there are E1 comma, E2 comma, and so on, En are events, sample points which are partitioned, that S. Okay. How they are? They don't have any common. They are mutually exclusive and exhaustive events having probability greater than 0 and not 0, non-zero. Non-zero means greater than 0. Okay? In such a that. And E1 intersection E2 or E2 intersection E3 or E1 intersection E3 are not there, means they are mutually exclusive, means 5. But their entire union is sample space. So that is what he wrote. The statement we wrote like that, and S is equal to where we said like that. So S is equal to E1 union, E2 union, and so on, En. And one of the events is A associated in sample space, yes. A is equal to A intersection, yes. A intersection, yes means what you are given. From here, you know what to do, how to do, very simple. I think you understood already. What is total probability also? I explained through your example. So the total probability P of A is nothing but getting a red ball from box A, from box B, from box C. All the chances of the getting a red ball from A, B, C will add. That is called total probability. Okay, na? That is called total probability. Now I said before, reverse probability also it is called Bayes theorem. What reverse probability will ask? Okay, na? Getting a red ball from box A, box B, box C, you find out. Boss. Now I want it should be from box 2. Now I want it should be from box 2. That's all. Whatever, wherever from box 2 you want, that you write the probability of up. That is called over. That is nothing but reverse probability. So if you write A given EI means EI given EA. The reverse probability means that only. So you already mentioned from box 2 I should get a red ball. The red ball should be from box 2. Okay, na? That's all. The problems very easy now. We'll see. But applications, they'll go. Bayes theorem applications, they'll use more. Okay? I think you understood now. I'll rub it off. I'll proceed further. Bayes theorem final conclusion. Okay? Thank you. Now, I'm proceeding in further. Now, so theorem on probability, see how much time it took of writing on the board. Otherwise, it will take much time. Okay, now I proved that total theorem on probability. I give an example also. 100% sure that you people understood this. Okay, otherwise once again you go through it and slowly listen, definitely you can understand what I said. Okay, then now I am going to tell you this is Bayes theorem, which is basing on this. Very simple, only one word. That is nothing but one word. So whatever the total probability theorem we should write, that is called Bayes theorem. Okay, let us see now, that is also, then we'll complete this one. Then only problems will be left over basing on it. Okay, now I'll write Bayes theorem. Yes, I'll write here. Bayes, scientist name. So Bayes theorem. As I said now, any theorem you want to prove, it should be you should have a statement as well as proof. So first of all, let us write a statement. I don't want to deviate much from your textbook. Why? Because if you go through textbook also you should be able to understand, because of keeping in mind like that, a terminology I am not changing. Whatever the textbook terminology given, that only I am using. So it is easy for you to go through it. Okay? Statement. So in statement what is given now? Bayes theorem. If E1, comma E2, comma and so on En or any, if you have textbook you can write, otherwise I will simple change means or n non-empty. Non-empty means 0, it should not be 0. Non-empty events which constitute means having, which constitute a partition of sample space. Yes, a partition of sample space. Yes, sample space yes, comma sample space yes, and comma that is, you can write like anything. Here what textbook what is given, that right, that is E1, comma E2 and so on En or pairwise disjoint, pairwise disjoint means nothing. Pairwise is E1 intersection E3, E2 intersection E4, E1 intersection E10, that is called pairwise. Pairwise if you take any two, if you take pair means two, any two if you take, their intersection is what? They don't have any intersection 5, so then they are called pairwise intersections, pairwise events, disjoint. Okay, so you need not worry, new one. Okay, pairwise disjoint and E1 union E2 and union and so on union En is equal to yes. Now total probability we proved the same only. Yes, and comma A is any event. A is any event of non-zero probability, okay, non-zero probability, then P of EI given A, generally A given EI will be there, that is called reverse probability here. P of EI given A is equal to P of EI into P of A given EI. Here what is there? Reverse is there, that's why reverse probability. By now total probability means what? Sigma J is equal to 1 to N P of EJ into P of A given EJ. That is what you proved now, total probability. For any here I is said, for any I is equal to 1, 2 and so on N. This is the statement. So first of all we should write statement, that is important. So whatever we did in throughout total theorem of probability, that only we are writing now here. E1, E2, En are n non-empty set events which is constitute a partition of sample space S, that is E1 union, E2 union are pairwise disjoint and their entire union is sample space. A is any event of non-zero probability, then probability of Ei given A, because we want particularly from that, that's why reverse is equal to probability of Ei into probability of A given Ei by total probability. Now you proved, here what is I is equal to 1 to n, here J is equal to 1 to n. Over. So you don't have anything here. Now proof, I will write here proof. This is proof I will write. Okay na? Once I write proof means it will come so. By formula for conditional probability, by formula of conditional probability, by formula of conditional probability, so notes also you can write, that is the reason I am writing all these things. By formula of conditional probability. What is the formula of conditional probability? What we did in theorem, that only right here. We know that. I'll write here. We know that. What you have to prove? This is equal to this, you have to prove. Okay. We know that P of Ei given A means you think as A given B. So this is how much? P of Ei intersection A or A intersection Ei, both are same, by P of A. Correct or not? You tell me. P of A given B, their intersection by the A. That is the conditional probability rule. We know it. We wrote it. So that is equal to, I will write here, this is equal to P of Ei intersection in multiplication theorem, previously proved. What is the multiplication theorem? Probability of Ei into probability of A given Ei. How we got it? This is by, you write here, by multiplication rule. Multiplication rule. Not so. By rule of multiplication, whatever you want to write. By multiplication rule. We know that. P of A intersection B, P of A into P of A given B, like that. P of Ei into P of A given E. How he got it? By multiplication rule. How he got this? By conditional probability. So we are using all theorems of previous one. Correct? Huh? So that's why. Now, so that is equal to now. What you will write now? That is okay. So this is equal to, once again, by how much is there? P of A, that you should not forget. So now this is equal to P of Ei into P of A given Ei by, what is there now? What is there now? P of A. P of A means what? Total probability. Total probability means what? Sigma. J is equal to 1 to n probability of Ei, Ej into probability of A given Ej. Correct or not? This one. Over. We already proved. How we got it? We write down by total probability theorem. Total probability theorem. All rule, whatever the rule or theorem, both are same. By total probability rule. So over, your Bayes theorem is 4. Correct or not? By the theorem of total probability or the total probability rule, whatever it is. So finally, Bayes theorem is what? 3 steps. One is by multiplication by conditional property. Second one by multiplication rule or multiplication theorem. Third one by total probability theorem. Now what I am saying is, when examination given this proof to Bayes theorem, you have to write statement like this. By conditional probability you can write like no problem. By multiplication theorem also you can write no problem. But here P of A, you have to write the entire theorem. Total probability theorem you have to write. After that, final step you have to put. Then you will get this. Okay, na? So this is called Bayes theorem. Okay. So that is the reason total probability has very theorem of probability is very, very important. I feel that you understood very well. Please go through and please once again go write it on a paper. Then you will get. So here generally what we will say terminology. Here terminology what you will say now, here we say that actually scientist name is John Bayes. That's why we call it as Bayes theorem. John Bayes. So it's called Bayes theorem. Okay, na? Generally E1 comma E2 comma En are there, no? They are called hypothesis. Hypothesis. What means when experiment, for example, I'll tell you, when a die is rolled, what are the sample points you will get? 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is called hypothesis. So we got 6 events in the sample spaces. So E1, E2 and so on En are called hypothesis. Okay, na? So this is called the Bayes theorem. Basing on that, we can do any number of problems also. Okay, first let us see about this all, then we will do the problems next class. Okay, only some 12 problems are there, maximum 2 to 3 videos, means 3 to 3 classes will complete. Okay, my dear students, today thoroughly I explained with examples the theorem of total probability and Bayes theorem, how to together you write and I should get it, okay, in examination. I feel that definitely will go through it and write on a paper, practice it and be ready for Bayes theorem for any examination for 5 marks they are going to give. Thank you.